All right, we are back. I'm still trying to share this everywhere. How's it going tonight, Zach?
It's pretty good. I just got back from dinner with the wife.
Awesome. Where'd you go? Anywhere good?
Yeah, it's one of our favorite restaurants down here in Louisville. It's called Ramsey's Cafe in the World. They have a dish from like 50 different countries.
Yeah.
Um, I got the, don't even know where it's from. Blackened chicken with some Bo Bozen sauce, cheese.
Bolognese?
No, it's cheese. It's soft cheese.
All right.
With another sauce. I don't know, man. I'm not good at the food stuff, but it was really good. My wife
That's
gets the
good.
sari wrap from India,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of good stuff there.
Awesome. First, before we get into it, because we have a lot of fun stuff to get into tonight. Hold on. We do. I mean, we got your race. Well, the biggest on-road race, one of the biggest ones you went to. I went to a fun oval race. Silly season. Cam brings up the Christmas Classic. But first, tonight we are brought to you by Southern Minnesota Raceway. They're having an off road carpet event on December 21st. It's going to be Christmas Chaos. Classes are going to be rookie, sportsman, 13.5 buggy, four wheel, 17.5 two wheel expert, 17.5 two wheel intermediate, 13.5 stadium, 13.5 two wheel drive short course, and super minis. $20 per class, concessions. They're going to have a special Christmas lunch of ham, stuffing, green bean casserole, gifts, all that stuff. It's going to be awesome. So check out Southern Minnesota Raceway on Facebook. Christmas Chaos is going to be the next big one. So let's see. We got a few people checking in. We got Lee checking in from Australia. We got KRD Klein Race Car Design checking in. So you got back from the Carpet Champs. That's one of the.
hmm
It was one of the big.
465 entries,
That's good. That's a lot.
56 heats.
It's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of classes in on road, so I'm sure they were all fairly full from what I saw. You had a
There
couple.
were, but like there weren't. It's no more than off-road. We just don't say intermediate.
Yeah, no, exactly. Um, so you race mod touring car with a new car.
I did. Thanks for just putting me on blast, Joe.
Sorry.
um. Yeah, I did. So, previously I ran the Awesomatics,
Yes.
um, and this time I ran the X-Ray.
Yeah. When you
Um,
race a different car at a race of this magnitude, I think everybody at that point already knows.
um, yeah, probably, but yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about my experience, coming back and the car, and then the race. So, the going back to carpet from asphalt. The car turns a lot.
Yep.
Um, I started out with a setup from Kevin Hebert,
Yep.
and the man's a wheel because I turned the wheel and my car did a 90-degree corner. Um, I can't. It didn't break loose. It just had so much steering I couldn't deal with it.
Right. That seems to be the regular with any pro setup in any genre of racing. Like if you try to put in a pro setup in 10 scale off road, it's going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Um. So I didn't do that. I thank Kevin for his help, though. He was really helpful
Oh,
with the
yeah.
ESC. I had a new, so I had a new car, a new
Oh,
ESC, The gravity tires were different. Haven't raced on carpet in 10 months. Mounted my body wrong.
Oh no.
What else? I suck.
Yeah.
Lots of things that were uh, dis- um,
Well, did,
disadvantages for me this weekend.
did you at least mount the body so wrong that you were able to move holes like a full hole and then like cover the old holes with black tape or anything like that?
No, because I cut.
What was that you
So
cut
I
out?
mounted my too far forward. The
Oh,
body fit perfectly. I did that part right.
okay.
I just didn't. I didn't measure it right.
Mm,
So I got the cutting out part right. I got that down to a science.
yeah.
I don't have on the automatics. I had it really good.
Yeah.
But, I gotta do some work on this. But it was fun. Um, the new gravity tires are a little bit different than what I remember. They're more square,
Okay.
which leads me to believe that they are more aggressive on entry, which
Hmm.
kind of, I had a lot of things going against me. Um, I don't think the car necessarily had anything wrong with it, but it was just my inexperience, the new tire, not that there's anything wrong with the tire, it's just new.
Yeah.
I mounted the bodies wrong, like way too far forward, which didn't help on entry either. Um, and just getting used to the car, like there's so many things that you have to do just to get used to it. To a
That's a
new
tough
car.
place to break out a new car for sure.
Wow. Yeah, well, I did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a couple things going against me. I was probably the only driver there that glued the front tires
Oh,
in
really?
in a sedan, with a regular
Yeah.
sedan tire. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It was too much for me. I couldn't hang on to it. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
gluing, if you don't know, gluing the sidewall of your tire takes a little bit of steering away, maybe like 5%, but also what it mainly does is calms the car down. So that
Right.
entry initial steering you have is a lot calmer.
Yep. Well,
Um,
I glued an oval tire for the first time last weekend, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah. So, um, yeah. So the car was really good. I have no complaints. It did everything I wanted it to. I still wasn't comfortable with the car at the end of the day. Um, I need more practice. I need more time with it. I need more time with the car. It's hard because I've not been running anything like that for the last 10 years. Um, it just takes a little bit getting used to, but I broke through top decks. So besides that, it was good. When you send it off the track, they
Yeah.
don't. What are you gonna do?
I mean, yeah, at
Um,
that point, do you just get off the driver's stand and be like, you know what, I deserved it.
yeah, pretty much. You're like, what possibly could I have done to deserve this fate? Flashback to the 20 wrecks and then the flying off the track. Like, all right.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, you're just in a rough patch.
Yeah.
I had a really bad rough patch last year that I almost quit everything at one point, to be honest with you, and I'm really glad that I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was like, and I say like, so I was 5/10 a lap off the pro drivers, like 10 minutes
Okay.
in. Um, a little bit further back than I normally am, but I'm blaming it on all the things I already talked about and my
Yeah.
lack of skill. Like we can put that in there too.
You think if the car was to your liking, you would have made the bottom of the A?
I think any of us could have any of like eighth in the B
Yep.
to all the way to the top of the B. These 8 cars could have made the A if we picked up a 10th and didn't suck on all of our laps. Like no wrecks, no dots, no
Right.
traffic. Like if we just had like a really good run
Yep.
and picked up 1/10 a lap, which isn't that much, we quit over driving it a 10th. Any of us could have made the back of the A.
Sure.
It was that close. I mean, that's what it was. Aiden won. He should have won. He was the best of the rest.
Yep.
Kind of sucks that he didn't make the show, but you know what? You look at who made the show and you're like, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I've had it in my notes that On-Road seems to be back in a big way right now. All of the good guys are showing up to all of the races again. Entries are very strong. He says, count that as a dad penalty. Single guys with no kids are faster. Hey, Dwayne Fisher checking in. Yeah. Braden Bowling, was he a mod touring guy as well?
No, he was a what did he run? When did he run? Oh, his mouse. I mean, 12 scale. He ran 12 scale.
Yeah.
But he does do announcing frequently. He did some announcing at the race. He was pretty good.
Good. It's
so,
hard to announce a race.
Cam, I'm coming to the Christmas Classic when I have less shit to do.
Yeah.
I was trying to come this year, and I just we're doing Christmas cookies instead.
Yeah, we were gonna buy you a plane ticket, and you're like, "Oh crap, I have stuff to do that weekend." Which is, it's good that your schedule is already laid out that far ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to. It's just it's too far to drive. I think it was like 12 hours to drive.
Yeah, it's 12. Because I've looked at drive into the Hoosier a few times, and it's like I just can't.
Yeah.
Jordan Freestead checking in. Awesome.
So,
would you go back to this race again?
Yes, I like the race. I don't like what they did this year. So I'm throwing this year out as a throwaway.
Okay.
They opened up entries again. So it was like 350 or 380 they capped it at, and then they just kept opening entries. And by day, I don't know if it was Paul or Scotty or what. I would have happily paid another $20 or something to like cap it at something.
It's that greed, man. Not greed necessarily. It's when they say, did they say we're capping it at this and then they open it up here and there?
So on Scotty's website,
yep,
they have a registration limit.
Yes.
And when registration is full, I would assume that means that we've hit the cap of the race.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't talk to Scotty about this, so I'm talking out of turn, if you will. But yeah, so I really like Scotty's events. I really liked what Paul and Scotty and Zach and whoever else is involved with this have done to the event. I think they carry on the spirit of Sean and I'm blanking on the other guy's name. Sorry. I think they have done a good job of doing that, but this year I feel like the entries made for a super long race. Like I ran one class and we had 56 heats. That means I had 54 heats of downtime.
So what did you do?
I couldn't even tell you because it wasn't even productive. It was just fun.
Yeah.
I went to the bar and had some beers.
Yep.
I ate lunch at the restaurant/bar. I talked to a lot of people. I made a lot of laps. I was just Just talking everybody's ear off.
Yeah.
I worked on
Good.
my car for like a couple hours. I made sure like the car was the best it could be when I put it down the track.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
yeah,
Hey,
that was. I mean, that's all I did.
John Bolton checking in. KRD says, unfortunately, long travel time is part of these hobbies these days. It's getting that way. Dwayne's wondering when I'm coming back to race some off road. That's going to be in a couple weeks. I'm announcing the Christmas Classic this weekend. Then we're racing off road, but it's going to be wheeler only for a little bit. Yeah, it's just a decision I made. So yeah, I'm glad he had fun. Another
Oh,
that's two big races in a month.
yeah. Did you watch the main I asked you to?
No, which main?
My main.
No, I
The only
didn't.
one that really matters. I mean, let's be honest
Doug.
here.
Oh, I remember you. You know, we talked while I was working, and I just
So, I'm gonna replay this with my hands.
okay,
Yeah, and these package of JSM screws.
nice.
Okay. Excuse me. So, I fucked it up like the first minute and had to get marshaled. And
Oh,
they put me to like fourth or fifth or something. Or worse, I don't know. And so it was okay. I was just like, well, it'll be fine. I got plenty of time. I'll just drive back. I'm not gonna win now, but I could, I could get up there.
yeah.
And so I was driving, and and I was catching third place, Max, who was fourth place. And I was catching him little bit by little bit, and then I got caught in a little bit of lap traffic, and I lost some ground. And then a car flew off the track,
Oh no.
and there goes Mark Livermore in second place. He just like threw his car off the track. Well, it's easy to do when the boards are screwed down.
Yeah.
So so that was really great because we had a good battle there for like 30 seconds, and then they tapped again and let me by.
Hmm.
And then I was catching now second place, Max, and I was like, okay, maybe I can charge for the lead. And Mark started catching up on me, and I got nervous. So
Oh,
I think I tapped, and then Mark got around me, or some, I can't remember exactly the events now. I'd have to go rewatch the video. So touring cars kind of look like this, right? You can see there's a little
yeah.
bubble,
Yep.
right? Okay, so Mark and I are driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark's car turns 90 degrees in like one of the straight shoots. My
Oh
car
no.
does. I mean, I'm like 2 feet behind him,
Yep.
going fast.
Yes.
I hit his car. I T-bone his car, right? His car flips over. My car parks on top of his car,
Yep.
like in a movie,
Yeah.
like chassis to chassis.
That's I mean, I've seen it before where like a touring car got sunk totally in the side of another touring car. That's almost what I was picturing would happen.
I don't know what to do with that. But so the marshal threw my car down first, and I inherited third position.
Well, that's good.
And then I gave it away in the last corner.
Yeah.
Hit a dot. Mark went on the inside. That was
Yeah.
that. I got fourth. It was fun.
It sounds fun. Doug Reek checking in. Klein's wondering when is Dwayne going to run A scale nitro. Taylor is finally joining us live. Jacob checking in. What car was looking good in the worlds? I think he means your worlds. What?
Asphalt wise, I don't know if he's saying my car was looking good at the Worlds or he's asking which car
Oh,
was.
yeah. I think he said your car was looking good at the Worlds.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thanks, because it did not feel good.
Yeah. Uh, ugh. Brian, check it in.
Hmm.
Oh, man. Brian says I need to get the B7 to the track. Yeah, maybe one day soon. I don't know. Oh, Jacob saying your car was looking good. So
Well, I appreciate that.
last weekend I decided to go down to Island Speedway in Muscatine, Iowa. I took
Mhm.
Joe 3 with me and Austin Jacobson, and I've raced carpet off road there a crap ton. It's my home away from home. It's 5.5 hours away or so.
Oh boy.
It's in the Quad Cities, like across the river is Moline, Illinois.
Okay.
Um, so we're like, hey, let's do a dirt oval event because I practiced on the track last year. Well, the track was a little different this year. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong. The track was awesome. They took some banking out, and they started allowing sauce, which, whatever. So I grabbed Sticky Kicks Gold because basically I can't say that it's liquid wrench, but the only thing that smells like liquid wrench is liquid wrench and Sticky Kicks Gold. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we spent all day Friday practicing. Um, and little did I know I wore my tires out and they didn't have
Hmm.
any in the hobby shop. So somebody was hiding a set though. So Saturday morning, a set pops up in the hobby shop in a place where it wasn't supposed to be. So I got a set of tires. I end up spending r- in between rounds 1 and 2. I went and warmed up. I went and started breaking them in. Round 2, I kept breaking them in. Round 2 was so terrible though, but in the main they hit and it was awesome. I qualified fifth in 360 sprint and finished second. There is a lot of luck there though. A lot of things happened in that first lap. I got into second and just held it the whole race. Car was really good. The track was really good. I learned a lot. Nothing. One thing I have to say is I wish I would have brought a carpet off-road car to practice with because that made me miss carpet off-road so much just looking at the layout at that track. It
I
is
was surprised you didn't.
I don't have anything quite ready to go. Like one car's missing like an ESC, another one's missing like a motor and a servo, and it's just
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Um Jacob's building a late model buggy chassis soon. Sweet. Dwayne's saying he might run A scale this summer. It depends on recovery from brain surgery. Oh, he's saying after a long day of racing now it's too much. I bet it is. You know. Yeah, Island Speedway though. I
It looks cool. I would
just
bring a
look
buggy if I had one.
yeah, just looking at that carpet track, it gave me the motivation to get a car ready for the JCon event and the Roar Nationals. Jake Wiggs checking in. But yeah,
Which
that
Roar
was
Nationals? The one at
the Carpet Off-Road Nationals. It's the
ah.
weekend of August 16th.
Hmm.
They're having that as well. So they got two big events this
Hmm.
summer, which I'm excited for. Because like I said, when I started going there, it was the beginning of COVID, and that was the closest place to race that was open. And yeah, 5.5 hours. It was the closest place.
It's astounding.
It is. And I went to this place expecting a hole in the wall. That's what I was expecting. And then
Really?
because just saw Island Speedway and an address. I didn't see anything else. Joe 3 and I walk in there, and you got the most full hobby shop. You have, at that time, as an off road track and an on road track, they took the on road track out and expanded and made a gigantic off road track. And they have a dirt oval, they have a massive rock crawling course, They have like a chill room, which most people pit in, but there's areas to chill, like couches and junk.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, they're getting like 30 entries. I'm like, what the hell? What is wrong with the people in this area? So, I started pimping on here, and I'm not the one who they made it grow. They work there. Jamie Thompson and Tom Napper and T Mac, and I forget T Mac's wife's name, but they all worked their asses off, and they made that facility even better, and they made it grow. And it's so cool to see it as a national facility now. So yeah, I'm excited for those guys. I think sky's the limit. Hey, Austin's checking in. I just have a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so you went.
oh,
How
go
did
ahead.
you finish on your dirt oval excursion?
Oh, I finished second in 360 sprint.
Okay. I
That's
thought you said you qualified second.
well, I qualified fifth.
Oh, I misheard you.
Yeah, Austin he got caught up in a first lap jumble, and yeah, I got by and held on. There's one really fast guy running the class. He taught both Austin and I a lot about high bite, because that was the first high bite oval race that I've done. Usually it's well, I can't say that we're low bite, but it's like you start out the day on a spike tire like a green Sprinter, and you end the day on a full silver Ellipse or whatever bar tire.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
So
grip change.
yeah, it is. Oh, Jacob's wondering so I have a Hobby Wing, the Pro Stock one, the new one, and I
Mhm.
freaking love it. What do you think, Zach? Have you been
Yeah.
messing with it?
Well, I had a brand new ESC this weekend too.
Well, yeah, you said you weren't specific on brand.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I had
No,
the
that's fine.
new Hobby Wing G3
Yeah.
Mod ESC.
Yep.
And it handled really well. Kevin gave me his setup to run, and it worked awesome. It just had a little bit too much power for me, but you know what? I haven't been able to
Yeah.
race on carpet. And it was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't. He gave me the setup. We took a little power out. I took a little drag brake out, and that's it. That's all we did.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I doubt it's equating in sales, that toolkit charger. I've used it for 3 race days in a row now,
Yeah.
and every time that thing talks, somebody walking behind me stops in their tracks, and they're like, "What is that thing?" And I explain the whole thing. Corey's saying, "Oh, how about that Midwest Mod rental?" Yeah, Corey and his son, Alec, came up to our local track a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, and Corey just had one oval car, and he was going to race Midwest Mod, and Alec was just going to help him set it up. And I had my Midwest Mod car sitting there that I wasn't going to race, so I let him use it. And the guy podiumed with my car, which is awesome at that track.
Oh wow.
It's so hard to podium there. Jake Wiggs, he's talking about the Iowa Off-Road Series, round 1 crash and bash, December 14th. Yeah, and then there's Bad Fast and then Island Speedway. So there's an Iowa Off-Road Series going on.
Hmm.
Okay.
Is there a stop at a cornfield in between there?
Oh, dude, it's the worst. It's the worst.
I know. I drove through Iowa. There's nothing there except going uphill for a while and then go downhill for a while, and then there's
Going
corn on
uphill
both
and
sides.
downhill. And then you got windmills. So on the way
Oh, I
home,
forgot about those.
yeah, windmills. On the way home, for some reason, I use Google Maps instead of Waze.
Mm-hmm.
Waze takes me, even though Waze is powered by Google,
Mm-hmm.
Waze takes me the interstate way. Google took me. Okay, I crossed over to the Minnesota border on a single lane county road in pitch black during like deer season. I'm like, I don't like this.
Fair, fair.
But yeah. Hey, Will Britton, check it in. Will help me a crap ton with my oval car as well. Will's Will co-hosts the Hobbyplex podcast. They have a fairly new episode up on their deal.
Nice.
So,
with Alex
Sturgeon, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into new releases before we get into silly season, because it's mostly silly season.
It's mostly failure.
Yeah. Another team associated retro release is happening. It's slightly wrong. It's the team car. They finally got the shocks right. They got rid of the gold shocks on this one.
But they have pink pinions.
No, it's a damn golden chassis.
Mm.
The team car came out in 1991 and it had a black chassis. It did not have. But I know this type of thing doesn't. You weren't even born. It doesn't matter to you. I was racing back then. It matters a ton.
Hey,
oh
Joe,
yeah.
Your age is showing.
I'm super old. Like I was bitching before this because jiu-jitsu's been hard the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm. And he's bitching about a regular class, by the way.
Yeah. Gary says, I hate that route. Oh, the route from Google that I went. He goes, it pops you out in Rochester. Yeah, it is shorter. It's like 50 miles shorter. It's just sketchy as hell. And there's a couple of weird towns that I would not stop in. So yeah, team associated getting rid of the gold shocks with a lot of that stuff. So that's good. They released this weird 60 year anniversary with this like forest green chassis. Even the guys in the old school RC group didn't know what the hell that thing was about. There, everybody's like, why? Even a lot of these guys for the proper vintage car would put their house up for a second mortgage, and they didn't understand it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's yeah. That is
we at the end of this, I got to talk about a new thing.
a new
for
thing.
Releases. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about Horizon and what's happened since we were last on.
Okay, go for it.
So Anthony Westergaard, while he was injured, Jordan's saying he almost has a 3-hour drive home every week. Dang, that is a haul. Well, Anthony Westergaard was injured. Well, his position was eliminated from Horizon. So it's like, all right, it's starting,
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Nate Sutherland and Brandon Schimmel on the same day.
Yep.
And you were were you pitting your Nate Sutherland or just talking to him?
Just talking to him.
Yeah. I've never really talked to Nate. I've talked to Tim a lot, his dad. Tim's a really cool guy.
I haven't talked to Tim at all. I've talked to Nate a couple times. Nate's a 16-year-old kid. I mean,
yeah,
he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a 16-year-old kid.
Exactly. Nate's, and that's the thing. It's like, Ryan Greening, who used to co-host this show, we always used to talk about things like when David Ronalfolk was 23 years old and he was going on podcasts. We're like, who the hell wants to hear? It's like there's nothing wrong with being a 23-year-old, but you haven't lived a life yet. You've raced RC cars. You know what
No,
I
but he
mean?
might have some. I think Nate would have some interesting things to say. I don't know that he would have a lot of them
I
or
think
in-depth percept.
if we're talking about the TLR situation, um, I would rather hear from Westergaard, to be honest. I mean, Nate
Okay.
too. Well, Westergaard being let go while he's injured,
That's fucked up.
that's really fucked up.
I don't know if there's any legal grounds there.
Westergaard's in California. That's where all the legal grounds are built. If he has a legal ground, he's in the proper state for it. So, yeah, yes. So then after that, I see a podium picture from RC1 that I can't find anymore. Austin sent it to me, and it was on RC1's page of Tater Sontag on the podium wearing a one-up RC shirt and no car.
Yeah, I saw that too. Were you the one that sent that to me?
I could have sent it to you.
Maybe it was you or somebody else.
Yeah. But and then people started then Keenan White started talking about it like, okay, what car was Tater running? And then I don't know if he was joking or not, probably joking, but Aiden Horton goes, the kid whooped my own ass with my practice car. And I'm like, I could see that potentially happening.
I could too.
All right. Jacob's wondering, he'd love to hear Nate on what he did to his cars over the years. I'll tell you what, he did a lot. I was looking at my Facebook memories today. And in 2010, I had a status of who's going to get the new TLR 22. That was in 2010. And yes, they're on the 5th version in whatever with it, but holy crap. House of Hustle checking in. Austin was saying it wasn't even a TLR anymore. He's seen it at Island for that championship race. I'm sure he might have had a Visions chassis, might have had the Team Associated front end mod. There might, but that's what they have to do. That's what one of our local guys. We had a fast TLR guy locally. We had a few of them at one point, but
not anymore.
No, but what he was doing to that car, it wasn't. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. What the heck else do I have? Oh, so and then the talk is already Fend is out.
I mean, I don't know that to be true, but
He hasn't announced it yet. But do you see it going any other way?
who's going to finish all these platforms? Who's going to develop new parts for these platforms? Who's going to, because they're not going to sell themselves, they're not going to develop themselves.
I forget who else. Was it Todd Hodge that left TLR?
I think so.
Yeah. Stuff's happening, man. Home of the Hustle say need to get some of the Donathan RC leads. It's really easy to get Donathan leads.
Yeah. There's no exclusivity. And you did miss the Black Friday sale, but they're still available.
I posted on my Facebook page.
I mean, I tried to tell people.
Yeah. So all of this fallout happened after Horizon's corporate word salad that we're not going to get into because it made me tired just reading it.
Yeah.
It's holy crap. It's but and I heard this from the No Name RC podcast. You know who's been running X-Ray for a little bit? Barry Baker.
Oh, right. I just finished that episode. Yeah. I mean, so let's look at it from the overall perspective.
Yeah.
And I I think X-Ray's looking for a top driver because they're losing a top driver. Quelo's out of here.
Yes.
I heard that before I heard it on the No Name RC podcast. So if I'm hearing it and not trying to find this information, and it was a rumor, it has no basis in fact. But if Quelo stays next year, I would be very surprised.
Right.
So I heard he was going to Infinity based off of where his mechanic went.
Yeah.
So that checks out.
Also, Ronald Falk is not lighting the world on fire with X-Ray. He's doing good, but he's not doing what we all thought he would.
He's not winning.
Right. He's doing well. He's doing that between 3rd and 6th place.
Which you need somebody like that, but I bet for how much they're paying him, it's not
worth it. No way.
So, he's probably going to have I don't know how many years they signed him for, but probably like a 2-year contract.
Yep.
I would imagine that if Dakota went, Dakota, signs probably a longer contract than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Dakota.
Yeah.
And with no part support and no anything, there's part support. I guess product support, maybe?
Yeah. Well, X-Ray is pretty damn big for your average Joe driver. But you're right. They need, but man, it's sad. Dakota's been with TLR for 19 years. He just was on the other side of 5 years past Pops Losey selling Team Losey Racing. And that's, you go from a golden era to, I'll tell you what, between the Triple X CR and the first 22, we all thought TLR was going to go away back then. We for sure did. And then all of a sudden the 22 comes along and it's like everybody had one except for me. Senior had one. I did not. It reinvigorated the 2-wheel drive buggy market for sure. Because back then, we were still, Team Associated was still on the B4 platform.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the B5 came out till 2012 or 2013. Everybody was using the Centro car or whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah, and Dwayne makes a point. Just remember what they did to Drake. Everything Adam Drake did for Horizon meant absolutely nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think Dakota goes to X-Ray.
Yeah.
And he has a year of a year. He has
he'll have at
6
least
months. He has 6 months of Ronafolk results.
Yep.
A learning curve, if you will, with some moments of brilliance.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the year, you start seeing him podium a lot.
Right.
If he doesn't come out setting the world on fire to begin with, because we don't know how bad the TLR car is compared to the X-Ray, because nobody's running the TLR car like the 8-scope car.
Well, Ty Tessman, again, I heard it on the No Name RC, still same basic platform. Yeah. The problem is X-Ray makes their cars too well. With an A scale, you need a little bit of slop, and Ty was literally building slop into the car because you couldn't break it in enough.
Maybe.
It's a wild concept to people who don't run A scale, but I'll tell you what, if I grab any of my team associated cars, those front arms will rock about an eighth of an inch. And that's every team associated car out there.
Including their on-road platforms. I know, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I
Will
know that's
say,
what makes
go ahead.
go ahead.
I'm
That's
saying
what
Will
makes it.
said he had a Centro. That thing's, and House is wondering, can he trade some coffee for some leads?
Maybe send me a message. I like
Yeah.
coffee. Will was asking about some.
Yeah.
Send me your logo. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Austin went from a TLR to AE to X-Ray, and X-Ray was a brand. He became an overall better racer. Will saying it'll be interesting to see Dakota running a car a manufacturer cares about. He thinks he'll do well, and that is X-Ray does care. They do active prototyping constantly, and that is super rad. What else do we got?
So we have for silly season.
I got a couple more. One of them just happened tonight.
Go ahead.
Matty G to EA.
Oh right, yeah. What was he running before?
Is he still with Hobby Wing?
He's still with Hot. Well, EA just has batteries.
Okay.
That's all he offers. Hobby
That's
Wing
all he
season,
offers.
season speed controls. Yep.
Okay. Huh.
Non-conflict.
Okay. So, because
I
I was
will
looking through.
say, both of them were at Worlds and at Champs.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Brian Bowman makes a good point. He goes, that's calculated slop, engineering on point. You're an on-road guy. It doesn't make sense.
No, it's some bullshit that they don't understand, and instead of taking time to understand it, they just, well, this works, so we're gonna keep doing it. It's like gluing your sidewalls instead of learning how to drive the car.
Yeah.
I think there's a better way, but this is what we're doing now.
Yeah. Will goes, what is EA? EA's been around for 20 years now, haven't they?
Maybe longer than that. So EAM Motorsports started out as a motor tuning company back when you could put your whole logo on a motor. So like the D4, there was like an EA version.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had batteries back then too. I can't remember.
Yeah, he absolutely.
Or shortly after.
And like he also was exclusive carriers to things like the MPS soldering iron. When it was MPS, and it became something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, EA is also the president of IFMAR.
Yes, Eric Anderson is. So, he has some exclusive deals and some other things. He's like big in on-road. So if you run on-road, chances are you either run a product he sold you or run his product, or run a product he sold you. So he, yeah. So I mean, there's that. I don't know that's that's awesome and great, but like not silly season per se.
I was a little confused by it when I saw it.
Matty ran before.
Austin, he's not going to be making custom motors because EA doesn't do that anymore. Yeah,
No.
Matching old cell packs, own line of brushes. Brian says a little birdie told him a pro driver is going to Serpent. Any thoughts? Yeah, I have thoughts about it. I don't think he'll.
So,
You need a team behind you. There is no real team behind Serpent. Will says you have never run a high bite on a bumpy track if you're talking shit about gluing sidewalls. Yeah, no. And again, that I glued the right front sidewall of my oval tire for the first time on clay. I glue my carpet tires all the time. Will's asking, is Serpent still a thing? Yeah, Serpent's still a thing. They
they had a
just,
big presence at Worlds.
yeah, no, they absolutely have. They have fairly good on road stuff still. I don't see him in off road very much anymore. Do you?
No.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, I mean, here's another post from Maddie saying Team EAM from the 11th of November. So, I mean,
Okay.
he's been running his products for a long time.
Okay. Um. Yeah, Rick saying, and he already does that for Hobby Wing tuning. Yeah, Sean checking in. I was hoping Sean would come racing, but he had other plans. I was at his home track. Barufalo announced he's leaving WIRC. Yeah, he was pretty successful with that car.
Even though it's a turd.
Is it
Ish.
though?
Ish.
Well,
There's just nobody running it. You don't know how good the car is because there's nobody running it. Just like TLR. Like, well, that's not a good example.
well, so a
But
couple of years ago at Silver State, 2 Silver States ago, Chris Morant, he's who I call the hardest working man in RC. He works at a Ford plant in Kansas, and he'll leave a shift in the middle of the night, drive to the RC track, burn a gallon of fuel in the morning, drive home. He's that type of dude. So he was the team manager. It was WRC back, but I'm sure World Rally Championship sued the shit out of him. So he was a team manager for WIRC when Ryan Cavalieri was still on WIRC. And they sat at Silver State and they worked so hard on that car. And it was mediocre. But Barufalo did do well with it. I don't know. Maybe they ran out of cash. Yeah,
maybe.
Sean saying wifey duties trump all others. I agree. So it'll be
So,
interesting to see where Barufalo goes to.
where do you think he goes?
Ah, too tough. I have no idea. I really don't. I think he stays as a pro driver, but I think there's going to be 2 less musical chairs this year. We will see 2 known drivers not have a ride and not race.
I bet he goes to Monaco.
You think? Yeah, they're looking. Austin S-Works is too big. I was just going to say Robert Battier is now the manager at S-Works.
Yeah, S-Works doesn't need any more drivers.
No, they have the best, except for Ungaro. But they have Juan Carlos Canas. They have the Fullers. They have Boots. They have, why can't I think of his name? American. Well, they had Joe Bornhorst. I think he's done.
American. Not the Fullers?
No, I said the Fullers.
Oh, Brandon Rose.
Yeah, Brandon Rose. Dude, they got so many good guys. They don't need any more.
He could go. Well, Techno doesn't need him. That wouldn't make sense. He could go Kyosho.
Yeah, could go to Kyosho, but you know what? I think your prediction of Mayako is correct because they're looking at things differently now.
They need a driver that can help them continue to develop the platform.
Mm-hmm.
on a customer basis. So I don't know anything about Barufalo, but he seems to be a people's champion, if you will.
Yep.
And he's really young. So I think it would be a good, long-term type strategy to lock him in, and get another Robert Patier, if you will. I think Robert would have been really good for Mayako if he was younger. Not that he didn't do good, but it's just you only have so long as a pro driver.
He made the
I
finals
know,
this year.
but how long?
Not much longer. That was so wild that he made the final. I was actually so happy he made the finals because that had to have been one of the hardest worlds ever. And he puts that Mayako in the finals. That was, I mean, nothing beats winning the finals, but that had to have been the next best thing for Mayako and JQ and bad because it's like, holy crap. That's one of those against all odds scenario.
Well, does that tell you how good the car is, though? Because I
Oh,
mean, Robert's not bad. Don't get me wrong, but
I
he's not
see.
Angaro. He's not Juan Carlos Canas. He's not.
Yeah.
There's guys that are coming up that are faster, like
Yes.
Barufalo maybe, or Barufalo's like and Robert are similar, but Barufalo's on his way up, Robert's on his way down.
I
You
see the
know,
Mayako as a good car. I mean, I have a Mayako body right there. That's
Set Tebos.
no, that is
Can't see.
why can't I think of his name now?
Ronafalk?
Yeah, it's Ronald Falk's RCGP body.
Hmm.
That yellow
I can see
black.
Mayfield's. Yeah, well, the two Mayfield,
Yeah,
right?
this one still has dirt all over it.
What is that?
Look.
Is that an 8 scale Mayfield? And then a
Yep,
10
there's an
scale
8
Mayfield?
scale. This one's never been ran. That's a
Oh,
TLR
that's
one.
new. Yeah.
Yep. That one's the Ronald Falk, and this one is the Yokomo Mayfield. It has been ran.
Oh, right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
you
about that.
forget. Yeah, people forget he's been on Yokomo as well.
Oh, he was on Yokomo not too long ago. That was before.
That's when he still raced 10 scale.
Yeah, well, he said he's getting back into it.
I hope
He needs
so.
the money. He needs the money, man.
Yeah.
And I guess he doesn't need the money. He wants the money, but you know what? It checks out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I really think the Mayakos, I've driven a JQ car way back in the day. Jason Chenard had a JQ car and I drove it and it was a very well balanced car.
I never knew how to say his name.
Joseph Quagrain. Oh, Jason Chenard.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Chenard. I went to junior high and high school with that guy.
Oh, he's a frequent DRC customer.
Yeah, we both had white powdered well, mine was a white powdered Robinson Pro Team, and I think we were the only two kids in school with the white powdered Robinson. They were rad bikes back then. Before I get into a couple questions and comments from earlier post, I'm going to be as vague about this as possible. There's a company.
Is this bad news?
No. There's a company out there called Cheater Inc. Motorworks that I was made aware of last weekend.
Right.
I'll tell you this much. You might not get busted now, even though somebody got busted at a local oval race. Not like local here, but like somewhere in the Midwest. Somebody got busted with one of his motors that's supposed to be, he's fudging with, the software and the lock time. Hobby. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was, not specific as to what was going on.
Yeah, no, he's fudging with all that. I'll tell you this. When his business starts to wane, I guarantee he releases a list of names, and you don't want to be on that list. Sean's saying it was Limestone somebody got caught. So, yeah, man, stay away from that. that's one thing I'm kind of glad where like a lot of the places I race, power is not like our local off-road tracks are fairly small and our oval track is fairly small, so power is not like the number one thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's out there now. You know, people have seen it, and you don't want to be on that end of being busted running that stuff. That is, you're done in RC. If you're busted with that, you are 100% done in RC. The end.
So, just to be fair, um, anybody can use my logo, this
Yep.
logo here, tastefully. Um, that doesn't mean we're affiliated with any company.
Yep.
And anybody can use our product.
Yep.
So, and I appreciate that people use our products, but just because they use the logo doesn't mean they're affiliated with DRC.
Right. That bothered me a lot that they use the logo. Because I'm like, Zach is a Roar representative. He would not be okay with this.
Well, I asked them to remove the logo, and they did. So, um, that's
Okay.
that was nice. I
Yeah.
didn't have to get into legal actions on this.
Yeah. Matt Del Judas is saying he's looking forward to this weekend, and he's saying that you got to come up one of these times and we can do a live podcast. Yeah.
Who?
Matt Del Judas. This is in
Oh,
my questions I'm
oh,
scrolling through.
I was like, I'm gonna say the thing here. Yeah. So, on topics of interesting releases things. So DRC is a part of a cool program
Yes.
called the Rising Star Program,
Okay.
and what that is, we're a part of a number of programs, but this is kind of the most official one, I guess. So there's a bunch of manufacturers in RC, and we give product to somebody who needs it, essentially, or
Yeah.
is running cars that need updated.
Yeah.
So I believe did Rick Vessel used to run for TLR or work for TLR or something like that?
Who?
Rick Vessel.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so his son Simon was at the indoor champs,
Mm-hmm.
and he was running something I can't remember this, but it wasn't modern. Um, and so each year the manufacturers get together and say, hey, we can uh, donate these products to somebody in need, and kind of help get them up to speed, if you will, on competitive products. And it's a cool thing to do because, like, sometimes the RC is expensive, man.
Oh yeah.
And not that I don't know what the situation, but RC is expensive, and that's happened before where I personally, I haven't had money to go do this stuff, and my friends have chipped in, and my
Mm-hmm.
family's chipped in, so I could go buy a set of race tires, and I could go to this race and do these things. That's just it costs money,
Yes.
and when you're when shit's going downhill, like you ain't got
Yeah.
money for racing.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be a part of that. We gave away a charger and charge leads, power cables, some battery grips, and a parts tray.
Okay. That's
So, and then
awesome.
there's a bunch. Well, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something.
It moves people
Um,
forward.
yeah, and it was a good charger. Like it's a smaller. It was the M6D, which is a
Yep.
little charger, like the size is a little bit bigger than a business card, but it's a dual port up to 20 amps.
Yeah.
Um, it balance charges and works really good.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a smaller charger.
Yep.
Um, and so I thought it would be a cool gift for somebody. So we did that. and I know like Destiny donated some kits, and Team Zombie Canada, which is Ryan Comden's thing. I think he's the organizer of the Rising Star program. He donated a whole bunch of stuff to get the kid up and running. And there was another winner as well. You can go to Red RC and check out, and I think Circus and some other companies posted it as well. But it was really cool. So, I don't do that program because I want some extra exposure. I'm not a participant in it because like I think it's a good return on investment. I do it because I think it's the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
it's a really cool thing to do. And you know what? If I could put $200 into something that is, especially, a kid out,
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do. We've helped out a number of kids. There was a couple people that we've done this for. Like one, it's been going on for a number of years now, but one kid, Ryan was telling me, was still using NiCad batteries,
Oh wow.
brush motors, and crystal radio.
Oh,
And he went from like the D or G main or something to the A main with the new car and
nice.
competitive equipment.
Here we go. Yeah, Rising Star program. Let me bring that up and share it. No, dude, that's so rad. And I'm always, you know, I always do what I mean, we all do what we can, but I mean, to hook somebody up like this, it's really awesome. Let me select right here. There we go. Do, 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 do. So, yeah, first started in 2018 as an initiative at Canadian National Championships. The Rising Star program was awarded to young racers Braden Marr and Simon Vessel over the weekend at the U.S. Champs in Cleveland.
So
Yeah,
I will say this picture was taken at 9:14 in the morning,
yeah,
and nobody told me when it was going to be. So Scotty, you listen to this, buddy. A little bit of planning next year.
yeah.
I'd love, well, not next year. I'm not going to be there, but the year after that, like that'd be great.
How do you know you're already not going to be there next year?
I'm going to Thanksgiving.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, I go every other year. I go racing, and then the other year I go to Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but it wasn't. We didn't know at 5 a.m. And then all of a sudden we were doing it. Ryan's the goofy looking one on the right there.
All the way to the
Zombie
right.
shirt. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Uh huh.
Okay. The
Yep.
zombie shirt.
Yep. That's it.
Awesome.
And then that looks like maybe Kevin and Dumper, and
Yep.
then that's the kid that won, and Andy Brooks. That's Steve Radecki, EA, and then Paul Lemieux.
Steve Radecki looks like Jason Rona in a way.
Oh boy,
Sorry.
Jason's gonna
No, Jason.
cease and desist.
No, Jason doesn't do that. He either
I know.
laughs
I think
or
it's funny.
fires you. Rick saying when he gets his new kits in the fall and winter, he always rebuilds them and donates the previous year's cars to the hands of kids that could use an update, and that's a great thing to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've done similar myself. I don't do it every year, but I do it as much as possible myself, and we all should do it. It's
Well,
really
we
important.
do some stuff.
Yeah, if you can though, y'all should do it. We got a couple more comments, and then that should be a show.
Okay.
These are screenshots from earlier. Trevor Daly is saying, Trails End Speedway and Hoosier are meeting tonight to wrap up our 25 class rule packages. We have made great strides getting our rules aligned with more tracks. You know what? That's a good thing. And that's something that hopefully people just start following Roar rules when Roar updates the rules. I know it takes a while and it's like steering the
Oh
Titanic.
man. Speaking of,
Clayton is working on it, and the hate Clayton got when there was no Roar National Oval Championship. He's like, dude, we haven't gotten all the way yet. We're not going to half-ass this.
Yeah, speaking of, I think he's nominated, but he still has to be elected. So the people that are nominated, there's a period like
Yeah.
all the elections, and then it's coming up that he's supposed to be elected, and
Okay.
I guess not him, but the election is coming up.
Yeah.
I would like to see Clayton have another term,
Yep.
to keep things moving. I don't know. Like, it's a lot of work. It's thankless work. Nobody is really appreciating what he's doing. I don't even know what he's like the full extent of all he's doing because there's just so many fires that have to be put out all the time
Yeah.
that it's
It's a lot. And I think he brought it up before. It needs to be a paid position.
yeah, but there's so much shit that has to go right before it gets to like
Right. There's only one
any of that.
person right now that's paid through Roar.
Mm-hmm. That's the administrator. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Dwayne's
he's got
wondering.
a full-time job. So.
Yeah. Dwayne's wondering how the Gravity 12 scale spec tires were. Did you hear anything about that?
I talked to Mike G a little bit about it. I talked to a couple other people. They said they liked them.
That's good.
I didn't dive into much more than that. Paul said that people were liking them.
That's all that matters.
He said,
I'm glad.
he said, Paul, I hope I'm not talking out of turn on this, Paul. But he said he was using Andrew Knapp as a measuring stick, if you will,
Okay.
to see how bad or good they were. Because Andrew was running stock 12 scale and the exhibition 12 scale, which would be the 17.5 rubber class.
Yep.
Versus stock 17.5. And he said they were about 6/10 off a lap.
Yep.
But, excuse me, that's the first weekend on them, really. And also, the cars aren't designed for rubber tires. Like, look at Touring Car from foam tire TC5 to TC8 now.
Yes.
Those are way different cars.
I forgot to ask you, were there any TC8s there and were they successful?
Well, no, there were not.
There were none.
If Rick Howard and Kyle Klinkforth were there would have been, and they probably would have made the show.
Okay.
I don't even have basis to say that. They would have been competitive.
You would have thought that they would be making a push.
You only got 2 touring car drivers. You can't send them to every place.
But you can. You absolutely can.
Okay, I mean,
there's only 2 of them. It's not like you're sending an entire off-road team. I wonder if they got done with Worlds and they're like, hey, we got some changes we got to make.
Kyle, I think I said this before, but Kyle just said he wanted to change the bushings to bearings on the TC8. But also, he also said he did not do any, or I can't remember if he said any, or extensive testing on carpet. So,
okay.
Typically what happens is there are cars that are good on asphalt, and they are not good on carpet when grip starts to come up. Like, they're good on low bite carpet. Like, let's take Serpent, Schumacher, Arc, Kyosho, Tamiya, like everything that's not X-ray and Automatics.
Okay.
The new Schumacher is showing promise, but you know what? We don't have enough cars on to do anything. Really, this is the first weekend that Schumachers were tested on carpet. I know Dave Johnson's been running them, but you know what? Dave decided the scale wasn't good enough for him, so he didn't run.
Ah,
So I don't know what that means, but there's not a lot of carpet guys that are running the Schumacher. That doesn't mean
yeah.
it's not a bad, or it doesn't mean that it's not a good carpet car. It just means there's not any testing going on. We don't know. The
Right.
TC8 wasn't good on carpet. We know that. Or excuse me, the MI8 was not good
Yeah.
on
Their
carpet. But
Schumacher is not a very large company. They're a very properly ran company, but they're not very large. Hey, Brad Sandvig checking in. Yeah, check out his SoundCloud. Just search Brad Sandvig. Anyway, they're putting in such a push right now with their off-road cars. I don't want to say that they're neglecting all of on-road, but do you think they might be neglecting a little bit, like on the high bike carpet stuff? Because
that's the majority of North America. That's like 75% of
yeah,
North America.
right. It's just, I mean, they have great off-road vehicles and they're making a serious push in clay off. I never thought they would make that good of a clay vehicle.
I
But
don't think there's enough to go around. Like, I think you
yeah,
have to focus, even with a big company, like, unless you're X Ray or
right.
Associated, or like, you just have to have a shit pile of money to
Yeah.
be able to send drivers everywhere, to be able to send drivers to test, to be able to have part support, to make prototype parts and develop stuff. And just like, there's a lot of money that goes into it per platform, per surface,
Oh, sure.
that it's hard, man. And if you have, you have the money, but you don't have the drivers and time, like, there's only so much you can do. So you put on road on autopilot, you got a good car, you make a huge push on off road, get that semi solidified. Next year, you make a big push and you put some of the extra resources you gained this year in on road to boost those sales up.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to.
And another question is the differences between the carpets we're all running on.
Yeah,
Because,
so that's fair.
yeah, EOS carpet is, I've heard, significantly different than CRC. I've never ran on EOS carpet.
I heard it's a combination of gray and black carpet, and
That would be
think
nice.
I think I'm not. A couple people have told me this. I don't know this to be true, but the new batch of CRC carpet, the one I just ran on in Cleveland, is supposed to be similar to ETS carpet, but I don't know that to be true because I've never
Okay.
raced on it. I
Yeah.
have raced on gray carpet, and gray carpet is way different than black carpet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when we did the switch and our cars didn't work at all. And it took a while. It took a season.
Well, it was like, I remember driving on gray carpet, and it
Yep.
was like you had to really try to get out of the groove because the
Yeah,
groove just like pulled you in,
it did.
and your car was like super stuck at big
Yes.
races. And it wasn't greasy unless somebody was using a weird sauce that fucked it
Right.
up. Um, and black carpet initially was like spongy and
Yeah.
had like a give to it, and it wasn't greasy, but everyone was gluing their shit to like 60 millimeters
Mhm.
because they just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
never glued front
So,
tires until we started running on a black carpet.
and now like the tires evolved,
Yeah.
they're less hard, believe it or not. The carpet's way different too, so it's less bite, it's more greasy.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. I like it doesn't feel like gray carpet.
Yeah. Brad's wondering, do other manufacturers have places like X-Ray does? So
Mm.
like to where you can immediately prototype something? I don't think so because
No, associated.
well,
Um,
the Huddy
I bet.
Arenas, the Huddy Arenas
Yeah.
attached to the X-Ray factory.
Okay, that's fair. I would say there are facilities that have the capabilities, but
Yeah.
not to the extent of X-ray. I
Yeah.
think you have like S-Works.
Sure.
Um, you have Associated. You have. Um, I know
Mm,
Schumacher has something.
yeah. What kind of work does Infinity do like in-house, or do they send out a lot of stuff, I wonder?
I don't. I don't have that information.
I don't either. I
Same with
know
the
very
Osmatics.
little. I know very little about Infinity. And the only thing I know about Osmatics is it's a Russian car.
Well, Oleg's from Russia.
That's
I think the basis of this.
we used to call Osmatics Sputnik back in the day.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
um,
Rick Dandridge saying ETS carpet is a lot like cardboard with some carpet fiber sprayed on it. It's super thin. He got
hmm,
says, oh, he got samples of it when he got the EOS carpet samples because they're running on the EOS off road carpet up where, or I don't know if they are, or it's one of those tracks up in northern Minnesota is running on EOS carpet.
interesting.
Yeah, because you can get it from Georgia.
Hmm, okay.
There, this carpet is not special. None of
No,
this,
that's what I've been
yeah,
saying.
yeah, none of this carpet. And I've said this before: the original gray ozite was the crap you found in a late '90s GM trunk. Uh, so Rick's FMRC and in Warren, Minnesota, are running the EOS carpet. So that's kind of cool. And those are places I got to make it up to this winter, definitely. So, yeah, John Bolton had a TLR comment, and it's like, man, we beaten the TLR thing to death tonight. So
Yeah,
they think they know what they're doing,
and
and
they might.
well,
They might.
here's the deal:
We
they
don't
could be
know. I'm gonna let you rant about this. I gotta be back. Hold
okay. One of the questions I've always had with I've never worked seriously for a big corporation. Back when I was a kid, I worked for Burger King or I worked for Target, but I was a cashier, burger flipper. I had no inside look at a whole corporate situation. Let's say the race team is making money. Let's say it's making real money. It's making a profit. But let's say it only equates to 10% of your profit. Is it more of a hassle to hold on to that race team? Even though it's making a profit, it might not be making a big enough profit to put the effort, the manpower, the salaries, all that behind. Because I'll tell you what, they work team associated. We'll say team associated. They work a million times harder on their race team. And I guarantee they're making their nut off the Element crawler. They're making their nut off of the all the RTR, the Hoonigan cars, and all the vintage cars. They're probably making the majority of their profit off of their RTRs and their vintage stuff. So, but they're working 10 times harder on the race side. So the question is, for TLR, is the juice worth the squeeze, basically? I'm not sure that it is.
The
So,
opportunity cost is too high.
yeah. Brad says it seems like a good idea to have a test track. Novak used to have a pimp on-road track attached to their facility back in the day. That's still one of the they closed in like 2016, and I still kind of miss their company.
but they fell off. You know, they couldn't keep up with the world.
They
So
didn't want to keep up with the world.
that's
I'm
true.
sure. I'm sure they could have.
Well, Bob was getting old, and
Mhm.
it's at some point, like, it's still shocking when Lunsford retired. He just says, "I'm done." It's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, but was he gonna sell it and bastardize it like
Yeah,
Trinity is now?
could have.
Or
Rick's saying that has a lot to do with the shareholders. You probably miss a whole question I had. That has a lot to do with the shareholders and the people that run the company. If a race team is making money and bringing in customer traffic because of the natural advertising, I would think they would typically keep it around. Yeah, no, I agree, but like I said, it might be too hard.
well, they have contract customer 2.0.
Exactly.
I don't know what to call it. They're paying
Y-
to play is what
Yep.
they're doing.
Yep. Brad's saying I never truly understood the full ride guys. They may be good drivers, but then knowing they get top numbered products make it hard to give full respect knowing how things truly are. Yeah, I agree with the motor and battery side, but it's not as big as it used to be, like, in the day.
Mhm.
It's
It's
the
not, but it's still there.
it's still there. Tolerances are becoming tighter. Things are getting the gap is closing, but you're right. They're still getting that top 0.5% stuff. All right. It's 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time. I think this is a good podcast.
Mhm.
So yeah, do you got anything else? Or
let me just double check here.
okay, because I ran through my notes. Well, the notes that I'm not going to let people privy to what I wrote, but I make notes when I'm angry and I don't delete them. I just tell Zach when I send him the notes, you can ignore those.
Yeah, I was double checking the list. I I don't know, Joe.
Yeah.
I think it's a turbulent time in RC, and I think we're going through an interesting phase. Um, I don't know if it's going to work or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think Horizon's seeing that and trying something else before it's too late.
Yeah.
I don't know that if one way is good or bad.
Yeah. I
But you
don't
know
know
what
what.
nobody's doing is
Mm,
giving props to Horizon for trying something new.
that's true. And you know what? 99.5% of the RC community is not a paid driver. 99.9% is not a paid driver.
99.99999.
Right.
There's a
So,
very, very few. And you know what? It's smart on Horizon to, you know what? Instead of paying these guys to run our product, now you pay us to run the product. And if you do well, we'll pay you. But if you
right.
suck and you bought our product, well,
That's on you.
better luck next time.
Yeah. Doug's wondering where I'm racing next. I'm not sure, Doug. We'll see who's racing on the 14th. That's when I'll be racing next. I don't know where. So, anyways, let's get this. Oh, but Brad's wondering, have the new batteries hit the RC market yet? They've started to hit tools and whatnot last year. It's the same lipographine type scenario, Brad.
Yeah, they say it's different. I don't know what's different about it, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cam's saying the boom with toys is from a couple years ago is gone. Look at the motocross industry. Sure. All right, man. We can go
yep.
on forever, but I gotta go. My old ass has to
I
go to
hear you.
bed.
I know. It's okay.
So I'm Joe Zer Jr., and with me has been my co-host Zach Donathan, and we've ran out of talent. Have a good night, guys.